we got Brendan Eberly. This is Brendan Beadle. That's our other podcast co-host. He thinks Oregon should jump Tech and Ole Miss. So I was talking with Brody about this beforehand. I wanted to do that with my rankings. I think Oregon is better than Texas Tech and Ole Miss, but I just can't, like you said, Brody, I just can't justify them jumping two teams who are on buys. It's not something I see the committee doing. It's a very big jump. It's a very big statement. So although while it's something that I would do and Brendan says they should do, I just don't see the committee doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they should definitely be above Texas Tech. I mean, I think the best teams in the country at the end of the day are Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Oregon, with Texas A&M and Texas Tech slightly behind them. But, I just don't know if the committee will do it. I feel like they haven't been that kind to Oregon so far, and I don't see why that's going to change, especially with Texas Tech on bye. If they played someone, they looked a little shaky, then maybe you can justify it, but I'm not sure if the committee would, even if we all would.
Yeah. Brendan also points out that in our Alabama Notre Dame argument that Florida State is a very bad loss for Alabama now. Brody, I don't know. I was on the side that Notre Dame should be ahead of Bama. Brody, do you want to respond to Brendan on this?
I mean, at this point, Alabama has one of the best wins in the country going into Georgia and winning. I just think that's much more impressive than, honestly, beating USC or beating Pitt. Those just aren't the same level of talent teams as what's in the SEC or the top of the Big Ten.
Do you take anything away from their 70-7 win over the Orange?
I mean, Syracuse is absolutely terrible, but I think Jeremiah Love is a freak, and I think he probably should be second in the Heisman race by Mendoza right now. He had 8 carries, I think, for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. They won 77. He had 8 carries for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
8 for 171 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
171. Yeah, that's even crazier.
They were up 21-0, and they hadn't even run an offensive play.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a reflection of special teams and defense, but also Syracuse starting their 4th or 5th string quarterback.
Up 21-0 before even touching the ball. You don't hear about that. I just think, I still think Alabama should be ahead of Notre Dame. I don't even think Notre Dame should be in the playoff right now. They lost to Miami. I'm going to be adamant, and I hate Miami more than any other team besides UW and USC, and I still think they should be ahead of Notre Dame because they beat them head-to-head. They have the same amount of losses. I don't understand why losses have more weight than wins. They play together, or they played head-to-head. They beat them. They should be ahead of them because why would we schedule these games? Why would Notre Dame not just schedule – I mean, they do, but, continue to schedule 12 terrible opponents and go undefeated when it just doesn't make any sense why we're not rewarding teams for playing good competition and out of conference, because that's what we want to see. I mean, teams like Georgia hasn't played outside the South in an away game in I don't know how long. I think it's 15 years. It's something stupid. Their average away game is 80-something miles away, and Oregon's is 1,200 or 1,500. The disparity between a team like Oregon having to travel on the road to Rutgers or Iowa or different places around the country, and Georgia gets rewarded by they just schedule easy away games, and then they play their SEC games. It's why we're not going to see any marquee matchups in college football until the playoffs ever if the committee continues to disregard good wins.
Yeah. So I totally get your argument that why would you schedule these early season games if they're not going to really matter as much, or they're going to hurt you more than help you in the long run. But I think it's the timing in which Miami's taken these losses. They've been in the ACC. I mean, 2 losses in the ACC versus a loss against Miami and then Texas A&M. And those are in week 1 and 2. CJ Card just started his first 2 games. They've won I think it's 9 in a row now. All of which in pretty impressive fashion. I think they're really rounding into form. So I personally think it's a crazy take that Miami should be or Notre Dame shouldn't even be in the playoff, especially after they made the national championship last year. But
yeah, I think Notre Dame is a better team. Like, don't get me wrong, but they played and they have the same record. And Notre Dame does not play good competition. They lost to the two good teams they played this year, Texas A&M and Miami. USC is soft. They have a terrible program. They're the worst. And then Pitt sucks. They're ACC. Like, I just don't understand why they get rewarded, because we all saw it. We all knew it was going to happen. As soon as they had those 2 losses, we looked at their schedule and we're like, they're not going to lose again, and they're going to somehow make their way into the playoff. And like, I feel bad for Miami, honestly. They're protecting Notre Dame. I think that's the reason Alabama's behind them at the end of the day, because then they can't have a direct comparison to Miami, and people aren't going to talk about it. So I think the committee knows what they're doing.
I think Notre Dame certainly, like, them not being in a conference is very advantageous to them. They don't play a conference championship. They can schedule whoever they want. They can line up the end of their season as a relatively easy schedule. I mean, Syracuse and Stanford have never been – I mean, Stanford was a football power, I guess, 10, 15 years ago. But when they scheduled the game, they were not a football power. It was not supposed to be a big game. Same with Navy, Pitt, Boston College. That's the last 5 games of their season. They can line it up exactly how they want. But that's not the team's fault. That's not the players' fault. That's not Marcus Freeman's fault. So I don't think you can fault them for that. I mean, they've taken care of business, and they've done it in emphatic fashion. So, we can move on to our draft. So just a reminder, last week every week going forward, and in this post-game show, we'll draft players based on a theme from the last game. Against Minnesota, Dante Moore had a program record 90% completion percentage, so we drafted the most accurate quarterbacks in Ducks history. And this week, we're going to go with top short yardage backs because of Bryce Betcher, his 1-yard touchdown. Nobody was stopping him, so he might get drafted. Who knows?